fellas, not even Michael Jordan had a perfect shooting percentage when he was active in the NBA, which means it's okay for all of us to have an off night from time to time. But when it comes to fixing off nights in the sack, the answer does not lie with a sketchy gas station pill or a boner pill filled with crazy side effects. Oh, no, no, no. The answer comes from joy mode. Oh, yeah. Because whether you're happy or unhappy with your bedroom performance, why not perform even better? I bet your partner would like that. And Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sexy time. Oh, yeah. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. And best of all, Joy Mode is safe and backed by science. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. Plus, all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. So I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. It's small enough to fit in your wallet and take with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion to take you to sexy town. Oh, yeah. So don't miss your chance to up your game in the bedroom, people. Go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. It's Joy Mode, people. And we are recording, Mr. Mo.
I'm ready.
More islands. Are the moronic people?
Are there actually more islands?
That's right, there are.
Where?
Never heard of the Moors in Spain?
No.
Well,
I haven't.
that's why we call them morons in the future, but...
Is that true?
No!
Oh. Are there actually Moors in Spain?
Yeah, there are Moors in Spain. What the fuck? How do you not know this? This is basic history.
Is it spelled the same way?
It's spelled minus the last E.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I think it's pronounced Moor.
No, it's not pronounced Moor. There are no cows in the Moors.
It's definitely Moor.
Yes. I want to make sure to apologize to the good people of Spain for insulting them 1 minute and 9 seconds into our show. Please don't cancel us.
Do they listen?
Oh, yes, they do.
Sorry, guys.
So, again, I love you, Spain, especially Barcelona. See how I said it? That's because we love you. Anyways, we're going to do this.
Barcelona.
We're going to do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge.
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, news, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts in time. Now bi-coastal, it's the FratChat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Moore. How's it going, Mr. Moore?
Oh, it's good, but I'm a little jealous that you're in sunny California right now.
That's right. I am adding the bi to the bi-coastal here, if you know what I mean. Wait, what? I did not mean to...
I know it.
Take that back a little bit. So yes, if you see me not having my quick witted sound effects, you guys, it's because I am currently recording this from a hotel room at the Burbank Comedy Festival, as I told you guys. And I got no shows today or yesterday, so I've been beaching it up, living it up, loving good old California. And I could get used to this, Mr. Mo. It's been nice as shit this week here, too, which is so good.
It's hot here. Is it so hot that it's unbearable, or is it like a nice, like, mild
it's
hot?
That dry heat that like you can go out in and be fine, as opposed to like that steamy, hot as balls New York. heat where you just feel you're gonna fucking die. It's been really nice over here, I have to say. Perfect beach weather too. But it's I have to say, like out here, like LA, especially like nearby is Arizona and stuff, it's definitely more that desert heat that's just a lot drier and easier to manage. You add humidity into the mix, and man, my balls just cannot tolerate it. It's sweaty season in New York, especially the subway.
You know what a lot of drag queens do? They use Gold Bond medicated foot powder in their
I
undies.
tried that once, but it just tingles, and then you got that soupy mess. It made me feel.
I was doing it for so long that it stopped tingling.
Oh
My
no,
body,
that's
like,
not good. Gotta go see a doctor for that.
I was like, no, I yearn for the tingle.
See, it would make me feel like remember Ross and Friends when he's trying to put the leather pants back on?
leather pants? Oh,
And
yeah.
it all becomes gooing and shit. That's how I felt with the foot powder at 4 o'clock walking the New York City subways. Which some influencer just did a temperature test in the subway to see how hot it gets in the summer, and he had a little thermometer. And in some places, it was like closing in on 115, 120 degrees.
Well, I believe it.
Fucking, you don't think about it when you're down there. You obviously it's hot as fuck, and you're sweating, and it feels awful. But 115, 120 degrees, that's like dying weather, people. And of course, New York City does nothing about it. That's one thing that pisses me off. I even wrote the MTA once on Twitter because I was standing there sweating balls. I was like, how is there not a single fan in the station? And they were like, responding to some bullshit about how the fan could fall into the track or something. It's like, not if you fucking secure it. What are you talking about? It's such a dumb excuse.
Dude, I feel like anyone could be the mayor of New York. I think that sometimes because they were like, how are we gonna fix this rat problem? And then Mayor Adams was like, Eric Adams, he's like, let's try using trash can receptacles. Everyone's like, that's a great idea.
Whoa!
Like, what?
This man's a genius.
And then,
extra. Smartest man in the world.
it's crazy. New York State spends so much money on law enforcement and all sorts of things.
Totally.
But I think to myself, you couldn't take a little bit of those funds and put it towards the MTA, the train system. There's so much international tourism, and you can't throw that into better conditions for the train. It's boggles the mind.
Totally.
I don't understand.
And speaking of the police budget, the cops that they send to patrol the subways and just stand there and do fucking nothing are they're always are you
they socialize with each other? They just hang out in one section.
And a lot of them look like, is this your
understand.
first day on the job, dude? Did you have to work out at all to do this test? They're just sitting there, twirling their gun around, playing with it and shit. It's what are you doing, dude? No, I don't feel any safer with the cops that they send down there. I think the badass ones are definitely elsewhere.
Neither. So you brought up Ross from Friends, and there's an article that there's 4 or 5 doctors that treated Matthew Perry, Chandler, and they're being charged with I don't know if it's any murder charges or if it's just malpractice or what, but apparently they were giving him lots of drugs that he shouldn't be taking.
Yeah, and
so there's criminal investigation going on.
And one of them is I think called the opioid queen or something, whatever, the ketamine queen.
Yeah.
The ketamine queen. So
yeah,
if your neighbor's the ketamine queen, chances are, it's it's not good.
That's bad news.
You never want to be, I never want to be the weed guy or Cocaine Carlos. What? It's that makes me sound like a drug dealer. I'm just as DEA will be pounding on my door by the afternoon if I called myself Cocaine Carlos. So you're kind of, the ketamine queen might have had it coming to her, not knowing any of her background.
No, dude, speaking of doctors, So I signed up for the cheap option, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for insurance. We had like a different tiered system, and this year I was like, you know what? I don't really use it that often. Maybe I should just not pay so much per month. It's Murphy's law. Like when you pay a lot, you won't use
Totally.
it. If you don't pay a
You
lot,
die.
you need
Absolutely.
it. And so, um, I went to this office. It's pretty nice. It's on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It's super fancy. And the first few times I've been there, great. But I had to go there and get a referral to go see this other doctor to talk about my nose. I need to get another nose job, and I don't want to go back to where I went the first time because they didn't do a good job of my surgery.
Yeah.
I can't breathe out the left side of my nose, and that's kind of why I went there in the first place.
Totally.
So anyway, I go there, I wait an hour in the exam room, and this lady comes in who I've never seen before. She's filling in for my typical doctor, and she, first of all, didn't apologize for having me wait for an
Well, I never
hour,
do.
like rushed in. She
Jerks.
says, "What are we doing here today?" And I started to tell her, and she shh to me. She shushed me, and then I read the notes. I'm like, "Why didn't you even
Yeah,
ask
why'd you
me?"
ask the
So off
fucking
I was
question?
so my reaction was, "Oh, oh." She did not realize that she is in the presence of a queen. So I she's asked me a couple
Oh
questions,
no.
and I felt like I couldn't answer it fast enough. I felt like I was getting berated with questions, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna answer them in the order of which you asked them. So give me a moment." So, and she just kept asking and badgering me, and I was like, I was like, I'm sorry. Did I say something or do something to offend
Oh my
you?"
god.
And she says, "I don't have a problem. Do you have a problem?" I said, "I think you have a problem based off of all of this." She's like, "Well, I don't have a problem." I said, "Okay, great." And she's like, "Is there a problem?" I said, "Let me tell you this. I'm gonna break it down to you like this." And then a couple times she tried to interject. I just got louder, and I was like, "I'm not done talking." So if this was earlier, I had more fight in me, there would be a problem. But my appointment's at 6 o'clock. It's now 7 o'clock. I'm tired. I want to go home, and I've learned to pick my battles in my adult life. But if it was earlier in the day, oh, I would have brought it. I would have brought it. Consider yourself
If it was
lucky.
after
Give me my
lunch,
papers and get out of
and I would
here.
have had my lunch salad with extra vegetables and some fruit, maybe a little smoothie. I would have the energy levels high enough to kick your ass, lady. You bitch.
And then I go out into the lobby, and people are like starting to wrap up, and they're like packing up, putting the book bags on and stuff. And I was like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but someone needs to hear that whoever um is in charge around here, I want them to know that Dr. So and so is not a nice person.
Wow.
And she was standing in the hallway, and she was like, "I can hear you." I said, "Well, maybe you need to hear it too. She's not a nice person, and I'm happy to come back again, but I never want to see her again. So put in my whoever needs to put a note in my file. I don't want to talk to her again. She's not nice." And a couple people were giggling because I'm
They
sure it's
know.
not the first time someone's responded
Yeah,
that
they
way.
know. They definitely
But
know.
working in healthcare myself, like sometimes, yes, it does take a little bit extra energy to be nice if you've had a shit day, but that's just the way it works
Totally.
in
And when you
work.
have a patient,
Take it till you make it.
like a fucking patient who has nothing to do with any of the reasons, so you get a clean slate with that person. It's honestly in a way kind of like being a server. Like when you get stiffed by the last table, you can't take it out in the next one. You gotta fucking go make your money. And
Correct.
they didn't stiff you, that's your chance to make it up and make twice the tip, you know? So I don't know, man. People just gotta take a woosah break every once in a while. And hey, we all get fucking pissed every once in a while. You deal with some gray morons. You just want to fucking like, "Grr!" But no, take a deep breath, relax, people, get some oxygen to the brain, and you'll feel better. So take a meditation break here with the Frat Chat Podcast, and tell a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of serving, because you used to serve
Yeah, right.
too. We both did in college. Did you ever have a table come in and the first thing they say is, "Last time we came, we had a
Oh yeah.
horrible experience.
Yeah.
This happened, this happened, this happened." And then in the back of your mind, you're thinking to yourself, "Why'd you come
Yeah.
back?"
all the
Why?
time.
Who's that wrong here?
And I just like,
I don't get it.
and also it's kind of like, what do you expect me to say to that? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't here, like you can, but I always feel the same way. Like, why would you come back? That sounds like an awful experience. I think I would write off that restaurant if I had half the bad time you did, lady. Like, that sounds terrible. It's like,
And it's like, all right, lady, on behalf of the staff here at this restaurant, on behalf of the restaurant, on behalf of just restaurants in general, on behalf of the world, I offer you my sincerest
that's right.
apology. What were we
That's right.
thinking?
In fact, I'm gonna go
I don't know.
corporate right now. Make sure someone gets fired. That's and get you some free cheese fries while you're at it. And that make you feel better, lady. Yeah. It's like, the fuck do people want?
It's like, you telling me that your entree came out at the same time as your appetizers? Well, I'm so mad I could just
Yeah.
spit. Oh my! Give me a
I
moment.
actually had a lady.
Let me go. Calm
That
down.
happened with a lady once who was there with her family, and literally, like, I was like, "I'm so sorry they came out together," and she looked at me, and she was just like, "I'm done." And then she looked at her husband like, "I'm done." And then the husband was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "You're done? What do you mean you're done?" "I'm done. I need to see a manager." And she kept doing this every time. "I'm done." Almost like she was doing like special fingers, the spirit fingers, no wiggle.
Yeah.
"I'm done. I need to see the manager." It was almost like Kramer from Seinfeld. Okay, "I'm done, Jerry. I'm done." It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
But then my manager spoke to her, and that's what Like, the manager's the test. Are you crazy or is the customer crazy? And he just came back like 5 minutes later, like, I gave him free drinks to her fine, but good Lord, like, that lady's a nut job. And I was like, thank you. So it makes you feel a little sane having people watch your back. But
Oy vey.
speaking of someone who did not have people watching her back, I have a news story here for you, Mr. Mo. And I would say hit it, but I don't have my trusted sound effects, so these will be edited on the back end. Jimmy, you hear that? When you get a break in the yard, I'm going to need you to edit this. Cool. I got him back on a work release program thing. So just so you know, he'll be taking over some editing duties again. So if he does well enough, he might be able to get out of jail finally. So
Nice.
Jimmy, we're rooting for you. Just don't fuck this up. But anyways, hit it on the back end. Yeah. Anyways, boxer Iman Khalif, who was facing a lot of bullying and ridicule, is fighting back. Pow! Right to the kisser against people making false claims that she was a man competing in women's boxing. Primarily the likes of Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, after she filed a lawsuit against them for basically slander and all these awful things. So Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, and J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, have each made a notable litany of headlines in recent years for their anti-LGBTQ and transgender rhetoric, and now they're being sued for it. Elon Musk, especially, has a trans daughter, actually, who has recently spoken out against him for pretty much being an asscock to the transgender community.
Yeah.
But not only have these two been named in the suit, but Republican presidential candidate and already convicted felon, according to Bro Bible, Donald Trump, will be looked into as part of the lawsuit's investigation, which shout out to Bro Bible and Variety for this article. Now, the lawsuit was filed against X, which under French law means that it was filed against an unknown persons. So that I quote, ensures that the prosecution has all the latitude to be able to investigate against all people, including those who have made written hateful messages under pseudonyms, said Nabil Boudi, Khalif's Paris-based lawyer. J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk are named the suit amongst others, Trump tweeted, so whether or not he is named in our lawsuit, he will inevitably be looked into as part of the prosecution. So Trump's tweets and all the awful shit that he's been saying in rallies will be looked at, and they're not ruling out that they might sue him too. But we shall see. Khalif, of course.
Well, add him to the list because he owes a lot of people a lot of money.
Right. I feel like that's probably why they're just not even wasting their time. It's like, he don't have it. So to clear up some information out there, Khalif won the Olympic gold medals in the women's 66 kilogram boxing event at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France. She suffers from a rare condition called differences of sexual development, DSD, which can result in the woman having XY sex chromosomes, blood testosterone levels in the male range, and the ability to use testosterone circulating within their bodies. If Khalif's genetics do show that she has an XY chromosome, though, that is not automatically evidence of transgender transition, but rather the occurrence of a rare conditioning, again known as DSD. And
is that like XXY or flat out XY?
I believe it's XXY. I don't have to. Honestly, I'm not informed enough of the disease, and I don't want to. But in addition to the lawsuit from Khalif, the propaganda machine that Musk Twitter has turned into has also caught the attention of British authorities, as London's Metropolitan Police Chief recently suggested they could look into charging Musk for his app's role in recent riots across England, which were sparked by false reports that an asylum seeker was responsible for a mass stabbing in Southport. So it seems like the effects of Twitter's new crazy right-wingedness is being felt all around the world. But I mean, it's I believe, especially the Olympics tested this girl, and they determined that her disease did not give her a competitive advantage over other people. So I'm sorry. The other report that came out from the IBA came out after that organization had a Russian president. It only came out after this boxer, Iman Khalif, beat a previously undefeated Russian boxer. And then they never released any proof to their actual report. They just made all these claims and literally refused to release the results. Meanwhile, in the Olympics, where they test for testosterone levels that would give someone a competitive advantage, they do. And they have that stuff for the world to see. So, in my opinion, these fucking people knew what they were saying. They were just, being assholes. And they like to sue people for slander, quote unquote, when these people are actually just like saying the truth about them. So, turnabout is fair play, dude. You reap what you sow. So, I hope personally.
Some people are just buff bitches.
Yeah. And like, you can't help it. And, and the thing is, if she was like an undefeated phenom or something like that was like smashing people left and right, I would maybe even consider it. But she's lost several times. Her record was something like 7-5. Like she's lost plenty of fights.
Let's call out the obvious, guys. Everyone wants to head into the bedroom with confidence, feeling like the best version of themselves. But the problem is that sometimes our thoughts get in the way of our performance down there. Or maybe we feel that we're just not reaching our full potential. And what are our options, really? Do we pick up a sketchy gas station pill or prescribed a drug with a huge list of side effects? Nuh-uh, because that's where good friends of Joy might come in, people. Oh, yeah. Now, imagine a supplement you can take like your favorite greens packet that gives you that extra dose of confidence and saves you the embarrassment and hassle of a traditional erection pill. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is an all-natural and science-backed solution to increase blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance down below. Oh, yeah. It comes in a palm-sized packet just like this guy right here, like your favorite little electrolyte powder. All you gotta do is stir it into 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Now, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, but it also supports your blood vessels, cardiovascular health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and more. So even on days when you're not having sex, you can take the SPB to boost nitric oxide in your body, which not only supports your erection quality long-term, but also increases blood flow circulation, keeping you in tip-top shape. Oh, yeah. This allows for your cardiovascular system to pump blood more seamlessly and effectively to the areas of your body that need it, whether during workouts, sexual activity, or your regular daily exertion. When combined with a healthy diet, good sleep, and exercise, you will greatly improve your cardiovascular health. Now, the 30 pack comes in a perforated box, perfect for your supplement cabinet, pantry, or bathroom vanity. It's the perfect 1 month supply. Support your erections, athletic performance, heart health, and overall quality of life with Joy Mode, people. Whether you're on the move or traveling, our compact sachets are easy to pack and take with you. On the go, oh yeah. And get a Joy Mode boost anytime and anywhere. Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, people. Now, men across the nation have turned to Joy Mode with over 1 million packets taken to elevate their sexual performance. So don't get left behind. Let me tell you. Yeah, she's lost a bunch. It's not.
They couldn't find a better picture of her, though. I mean, damn.
Yeah, they really
I like her dimples, but
yeah, she's lost 9 times. And sure, she's had 47 wins that they say. Only 7 by KO. But those usually, this is a little known fact for people who box. Those first few fights, especially when you're trying to get known, are like against like absolute nobodies. So it makes your record look a lot better than this. But 9 people have beaten her, and in 47 wins, she's only KO'd 7 people, which shows that she's not a power hitter like that. You know what I mean? Like Mike Tyson was dropping heads. this lady
and biting the ear.
That's right. So it's like, come on, it's become a new divisive topic, which a new one comes every week where someone just runs with it and starts making hateful things, and then both sides start fighting, and it's awful. So people, all I gotta say is, watch what you say, especially if you don't have any backing for it, because it can get you. Slander is a real thing, so watch out. Anywho, Mr. Mo, it's time for us to slander each other. Right here on this very show. And comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds. Now I have to put this timer on my phone because, again, I am away and Jimmy is unreachable at the moment. So let's do this. We're going to do this in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, it's Kimmy Gibbler! Hey! Kimmy, how are you? I love you in Full House. You're so funny. You're so great. You look so good.
I'm sorry. I thought this was supposed to be original material.
Oh, well,
I've heard that before from you, actually.
Just like your mother used to say, I don't want to waste it on you. You know what I mean? I got to wait for grandma to come in on Christmas.
Well, I want to give a round of applause for the king of repeating jokes and taking credit for other people's jokes.
Oh, well.
Because a lot of people in high school used to say that to me too.
Yes. Well, that must tell you something.
You're a little late.
Speaking of repeating jokes, I recently saw you at the greatest comedy show of all time. And yeah, those were great. Just saying.
Oh.
No, but really, those were great. But just, yeah. And that's comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds. And those are actually great. I'm not. It's all how you say it. Those were great. Those were great. I've wanted to look for the most sarcastic way to say it, but no, those were actually great, you guys. If you were not there, you missed out, because that was a hell of a show. That crowd was also fucking awesome, I have to say. I mean, like, everybody kicked ass, but also, like, when you have a room full of great comedians, but also a crowd with a fun energy to match, it just makes for fucking greatness. And that was an awesome show, I have to say. So shout out to everybody that went.
You know what? Nothing against queer people, but
oh, no.
I actually tend to prefer to perform for people that share no common interests or politics or anything with me. It's always more exciting to me if I can make someone a right wing conservative from a red state giggle. I'm like, okay,
Totally.
this is nice to know that some topics are universal and there are things that we all might have in common through humor. You know,
Absolutely. It's honestly makes you feel like you're doing something right. So I'm 100% with you. When I can make people laugh or not like me, it just it hits home a little better.
like I like queer crowds and I like performing in queer shows. Um, but to me, it's not as, how do I say, not that it's not fulfilling. It's just not as difficult for me,
Totally.
you know. And sometimes it's nice to go out there knowing that they're not already on my side, knowing that I have to work at this because it makes me a better comedian. You know what I
Totally.
mean?
100%. 100%.
But when I go to a queer show, they already can walk on water because I'm so appreciative of the fact that they're queer. You know what I mean? And that we have a queer space. And so I'm already on board.
Totally.
But when I started the other night at Broadway Comedy Club, half the crowd I don't think was on board until they work at it. You know what I mean? Because people from Texas, people from Florida, people from North Dakota, a lot of people that probably don't like the things that we like. You know,
And if you can make someone rethink a little bit by just cracking some fart jokes about shit that is important to you, you did something right as a comedian. So I'm with you. And also, like, I like doing shows where, like, I love obviously my people, but when there's like 50 Venezuelans on the lineup or 50 Spanish comedians, it's like you kind of start, repeating thoughts and shit like that because things happen to people, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, when it's like me and a different set of lineup, like I feel like it's like you get more of a chance to shine, and people remember you more as the one Venezuelan in the lineup as opposed to like one of seven, So, yeah, I'm totally with you. So if you have not seen us live,
I like the shows where there's zero Venezuelans.
Oh.
Wah, 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 wah.
Now, if you have not seen us live, we're coming to, for the very first time, well, we partnered with Stand Up New York before, but this time at Bond 45, their new location, which so you guys should come out for dinner and a show because the food there is absolutely banging. And ladies and
what neighborhood is
that is very close to Times Square, actually.
Oh.
So it'll be a fun one. And you guys can go check out right now, standupnewyork.com for tickets to the greatest comedy show of all time, Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. That's the first time we're partnering with them over there. Again, get dinner and a show. The lineup is stacked. We got Alingon Mitra in the house. We got Kenise Circa, Chloe Radcliffe, Pedro Gonzalez, Ron Pernamano hosting, myself and Mr. Moore in the house, of course. And it's going to be epic. And then you can also check us out on Thursday, September 12th, I believe. Let me confirm that right now. Yes, September 12th at 7:30 p.m. for our final show at Broadway Comedy Club, people. We've been there for over 8 years. Actually, this is our 8th year anniversary show. And it's going to be epic. That's our goodbye swang song with Broadway Comedy Club. I want to give a shout out to everybody who had our back the entire time we were there, to the amazing crowds that have come back and have come through over the years. And the show's not dead. Don't get me wrong. We're going to keep rocking. Hopefully the Bond 45 thing will keep going for a while. And if not, there will be other venues because it's the greatest comedy show of all time. But in the meantime, go to tiny.cc/greatest comedy show and get tickets to the September 12th event. You can use promo code greatest right now to save 50% off. And also don't miss us August 29th, 8 p.m. at Stand Up New York at Bond 45 for an epic show with dinner to go because, baby, the food is yummy and the comedy is funny. So let's go. Greatest comedy show of all time. Oh, yeah. And anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I think I can speak for most men when I say we want to have better sex.
And for the sake of our partner, we may need to have better sex, fellas, because no one likes it when you bring a wet noodle to a barbecue party. Write that down. The issue is that over-the-counter erection pills contain unregulated chemicals, suggest unsafe doses, and include the risk of several other health problems. And who wants that? It's like those drug prescription ads where everybody's like sitting there playing volleyball at the beach, but they're dying of herpes. Not cool. That's why we partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. Whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode makes all natural and science-backed supplements dedicated to helping men perform better across their core functions. Oh, yeah. The trademark product, the sexual performance booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow down below, firmness, stamina, and performance of your favorite friend. It's like a pre-workout, but for your buddy down below. And let me tell you, it works. And the best part, the product is totally safe. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. It comes in a palm-sized little packet, like your favorite electrolyte powder. Just simply mix one of these bad boys right in with 6 to 8 ounces of water, 45 minutes before sexual activity, and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Like, you know when you start blowing up an inflatable castle? It's sort of like that, but down below.
Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymoy.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com.
Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, baby.
That's all we got on the front end, Mr. Mel. So it's time to get to it, because this week we're going to take you to our love for television, our love for pop culture, but our hate for some goddamn characters that get put in TV shows that end up either being super annoying or pissing us off, and you just want to look at these characters and slap them around a little bit, or at least learn to lock the door when that funny neighbor from coming over. Because this week, ladies and gentlemen, here at the FratChat Podcast, we're going to talk about annoying TV characters. And it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. You might hate some of these people / characters, not necessarily. No, this is not the actors that we hate. It's just the character that they're playing in this particular situation.
Correct.
Now, we might also hate the actors, but that's on the side. We're not gonna publicize that. We just leave some flaming poop on their doorstep like a normal person. But this is not about them right now.
Well, can I go first? Because I actually don't like the character or the actress.
Yes, go on.
Do you know who Jennifer Carpenter is?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So she played, she's probably best known for playing the sister in Dexter. Her character's name was Deborah Morgan.
And she was in White Chicks, and she was also in,
I hated her in White Chicks.
And The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is a crazy movie. She gets possessed, and she's all like,
I think, it's upsetting to me because I know she went to Juilliard. I know she's had like some of the best acting training in the world, but I just don't find any of her performances to be convincing. I think that she, I don't know if it makes sense if I say she acts too hard. Like she overreacts, and I'm not convinced that she's truly listening to her scene partner. So anyway, I thought she sucked in White Chicks. I think she relied a little bit too heavily on physical comedy, and it's just a little insane to me. But her sister character in Dexter, I'm like, why didn't he kill her yet? Like, kill her off. And I know why, because even though there are siblings in the show, at one point they were dating and they got married at one point. They're divorced now. But she wasn't going anywhere because she was sleeping with I would have hoped that they would her off. I can't think if anyone that's watched the show has been like, wow, she's such a great character.
Yeah, job security, baby. But Dexter, the character, he was just such a kind guy to his sister that he was able to keep that urge from killing her into just the serial killers that deserved it. But yeah, she was quite annoying, especially because she just wouldn't let things go, and just
Yeah.
very often would almost get Dexter caught. So she was definitely a liability in every sense of the word. And I get what you're saying. She was kind of a lot in that show. It was like almost extra, and they always had her sleeping around. So it was like all these like
Yeah.
love angles with her on the show. Which, to be fair, this was a show about fucking Dexter, the serial killer. I don't care about what her sister banging half the police force. Like it makes like no.
Yeah, I used to think to myself like is this storyline with this love interest gonna stick, or is this one more actor who's like, I will never ever come back to this? Kill me off.
I came to be a background actor, and they had me bang dead. Like, what the fuck? I am suing. This is awful.
Yeah.
But Dexter was one of my favorite shows for a long time, and I have to say, the more that they featured Deb into like the main storylines as opposed to just being the side sister thing, the worse the show got. And like the last season of the original outing, because I know it came back, was not that good. Especially based on like the first 5 seasons, what you got. Like the seasons with John Lithgow were fucking incredible, you know. But then you get that last season, the first show. I put in quotations, in air quotations, because you can barely call that a season. I was like, what the fuck? They were just they had at this point jumped the shark, in my opinion. The show needed to go away, and I'm glad it did. But I haven't seen the new one though, and I really want to because it looks great.
They're like the mini series that they launched.
Yes. I need to see that.
Like a few years ago. Yeah.
I was very excited about it, but honestly, it's tough to watch everything you want to watch these days. There's so much goddamn entertainment for streaming, and living with someone, you got to split the things. So we watch a lot of Housewives and the Garcia household recently.
Yes.
We're going from the beginning of Beverly Hills, and now we're in like season 6. So that's a fuck ton of Housewives we've been watching.
Well, let me just tell you that Brandy will forever be my favorite.
I hate her, dude. She's so annoying. Actually, she's the reason I thought of this topic, but I was like, we got to do reality TV a whole nother day because there's a whole nother, like, that's.
I think you see what you get.
Oh, God.
Like she's, you can't say she's not genuine.
My thing is, she
a lot
can't take accountability.
Go on the show. Well, a lot of people go on the show and they're like, this is how I want the world to see me. And they have their life on the show and then their life behind the scenes. Right. She's like, I'm going to be real behind the scenes on the show all day, every day. And I'm going to hold you guys accountable. Like, for example, she might have smoked weed with some of the girls off camera, and then on camera they're like, I would never. She's like, yes, you did. You smoked weed with me. Who cares? Just own it.
Thing, like, that's cool. I agree with that. But my thing is, like, she is just like, well, I'm a terrible person. Just get used to it. You gotta love me for it. Like, she'll slap people, throw drinks on people. Her kids were pulling out their wieners at a children's birthday party and pissing on the lawn. She's just like, boys will be boys. Nah, boy, you don't teach your fucking kid not to pull out his willy. He's gonna end up with sex charges, bitch. Like, learn to fucking parent.
Yeah.
So, like, my thing is just, she just expects people, just because she says she's sorry, to excuse whatever awful thing she does, and it's supposed to be okay. And I'm like, bitch, no, it ain't. Like, if you did half the things that she's done to those women to me, ooh, I'm swinging. Like, I'm swinging. So,
well,
yeah, fuck her.
I think that
that's a whole nother. We got to do a list on reality TV because I'm putting Brandy on it. We got to do this again.
Well, as long as you don't say anything mean about Kenya Moore, we're fine. Kenya Moore from Atlanta.
Don't worry.
It's like safe. She can walk on water for me.
Safe.
I mean, I just think she's wonderful. Anyway, who's first on your list?
So, Deb, you're annoying. Dexter, long story short. I'm going to go with one who is an iconic, annoying character. And no, this one is by design. But she's just fantastic at being annoying. And it's, oh my God, Janice Littman from Friends, who then later got married. I forget the last name. But, oh my God, was this bitch annoying.
I remember she had Joey and Janice's day out.
Yeah. Fun. Oh my God, that's a great Janice, dude. That's fantastic. But she
Thanks,
she
dude.
always would pop up at the worst fucking moments, and it's just one of those characters that just needs attention. And like honestly, the only reason she got number 5 is because Chandler does call her as a booty call a bunch on the show. So it's kind of his fault that she's there a lot. But good God, woman, stop talking so much. She is a lot. But kudos to the actress, though, because the actress Maggie Wheeler is nothing like Janice. It has like a very normal voice. So this is something that came out of her and became TV gold. But if Janice was real, woo, I'd run away faster than Seymour's sorority orgy, people. Ouch! Out here.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it's fast. Did Maggie Wheeler have any other roles anyplace else?
I feel like she did. Let's do a little quick Google on her, because I can't believe that would be her only thing. Maggie Wheeler, IMDb. Oh, she was in the Parent Trap.
A lot of animal print.
She was in the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap movie.
Okay.
She played Marva Culp Jr. I don't know what the fuck that is. She was in Holiday Hostage, 2018, The Addams Family movie as a voice. Yeah, she's had a bunch of shit. I gotta give it to her. The Epic Tales of Captain Underpants, which you can't go wrong with it. The show Marin. Yeah, she's been working very consistently, actually. I'm kind of jealous. There's a lot here. TV miniseries, she's a lot of TV series stuff. She was in Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is everybody knows.
Nice.
With Lara David. Friday Night Lights on TV shows. She was in ER, Dr. Dolittle 3, Drake and Josh. Yeah, I'd say she's done well for herself. I keep scrolling. I keep seeing. Oh, shit, she was in Seinfeld, too. Good for her.
Is it me or does buying a sex pill at a gas station feel super awkward? You know, you're like walking around and you don't know what to get. The guy's definitely looking at you, judging you with every step. It's super weird. Plus, then we got to talk efficacy. Does it really work? Because my buddy once bought a condom from a gas station, and now he has 3 kids, so you tell me. So it's good to know that Joymoid is not only backed by its users, it's backed by science, people, which goes to show that science can be sexy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world, and he still wanted to run faster. So why not be an Olympic gold medalist in the bedroom, fellas? Because that's where Joy Mode comes in. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. And it contains clinically supported doses of ingredients like arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C, which is going to make your boy down below stronger than ever. Oh, yeah. Plus, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, it also supports blood vessel support, cardiovascular and heart health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and general erection function. Plus, here are the game changers. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals, and all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans, so you know it works. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. And psst, it's small enough to fit in your wallet and take it with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion, and it's a powder, so you don't need to worry about it getting crushed in there. So all you gotta do, fellas, is just go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my next person, I don't think has done well since this role, because I think it's hard for people to see him beyond this character. But you watch Game of Thrones, right? Joffrey.
The worst. He was the worst.
He was one I loved to hate, and I didn't realize how much I hated him until, spoiler alert, he was murdered via poison, and I was so excited. I don't think I've ever been that excited to see someone die. But he was awful.
And it was one of the more shocking scenes, I'm not going to lie, because it was just right before it seems like everything's going to go his way. And that whole death was nuts. It was one of the greatest plot twists in Game of Thrones history. But it was also like, yes, fuck that guy. Fuck him. you were just so annoying. And it wasn't like, for example, there was that other guy who cut off the guy's dicks. I forget, Ramsey. Uh, and when he died, he was like a maniacal bastard. So when he dies, you feel good. But he wasn't annoying. He was just a sick fuck. Joffrey was just such a little bitch. He was just like, ah! It was a perfect representation of like, you know, making like a 14-year-old boy a king. I'm not gonna lie. But he was such a like,
Yeah.
he would have been like a Matt Gaetz or like Little Harbor. Do you know who my daddy is? You know what I mean? Like he totally would have been that type of person. His mom would have totally been a Karen who called the manager at all times if it was in today's world. Joffrey fucking sucked. But the actor actually retired from acting altogether, so he's done. In 2014, he announced his retirement. But said he had changed his mind recently. Came out. So we'll see.
He did some show called Out of Her Mind. He played Cass for 2 episodes. I don't know what that is. But he was in I think this is a British show. It's called Sex Education. He played a character named Mo. There's 2 episodes. Last year he was in a show called The Famous Five. I don't know these shows. I think they're all in the UK. But coming out, there's a show called Safe Harbor. There's The Sandman season 2 he's going to be in, and House of Guinness upcoming miniseries.
All right, so he's working. It's just
so he's getting back in there.
Yeah, no, good for him.
You know, I wouldn't say that he's genetically blessed by any means. No. No, some people just age funny. Yeah. Like there's that one blonde kid from Harry Potter that you look at him younger and think, okay, this is a good looking kid, and then as he gets older, you're like, oh, I would have thought that he had his life, you know, made with having some good genes, but unfortunately, he grew up to be an ogre.
Oh no!
So,
all right,
so this is one that's a little shocking to me. I was like, oh wow, like I really thought you would have grown up to be better looking in this. Ooh.
It's funny if you Google King Joffrey and you go to like the images, it shows like a clip of him like choking, but it doesn't look like he's choking. It just looks like he's like very offended. Like, oh, why I never?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you wear those shoes with that dress, milady? Oh! Oh man. So yeah, King Joffrey, he was definitely a fucking I hated him. Anyways, up next, I'm going to go with one who we heard from a little bit earlier. Kimmy Gibbler in Full House, who I was told looks like if Simo was a girl. Just what I heard. I saw the Simo's high school group chat, and I thought it was funny. But this bitch is annoying.
I think I probably look like a cross between Kimmy Gibbler and Sarah Jessica Parker.
With a little Andy Dick in there.
Unfortunately. A little Andy Dick. A little Mr. Ed.
But the thing with Kimmy Gibbler that was annoying is she would walk into people's houses without knocking and shit, like make herself at home and always talk about her disgusting feet on the show. It's like, fuck that bitch. Yeah. Have some respect. And she was always cracking jokes at DJ's family. Like, my family would have never allowed her to fucking come over. They would have made sure that door was locked. Said, bitch, you come to the front door and knock with some goddamn respect. And if you take off those shoes and start talking about your dirty ass feet, you're out of here. Who are you? She just didn't know when to stop. And sure, it made for great, hilarious TV moments. But I was just like, man, if this bitch came into my house like that, there'll be problems. Problems, I says.
Yeah, that is rude. No, some people, it's interesting. A lot of houses you go into, they're like, take your shoes off.
Yes.
And I respect that. But there's been some people that come into my house, like that's the rule at my house. But like there's some people that I don't want them taking their shoes
totally
off.
Like my mom was notorious, take your shoes off, but leave your socks on, dude. And like don't like I hate when people pick their feet like in public. Like if you have something in your fucking toenails, that's something you do in fucking private, dude. Not sit in someone's house with your fucking foot up there, like ah. She would always like, I don't know if that was like a director thing. Someone had a foot fetish for her feet because her feet were a part of the show
very often now that I think about it. It was like, oh, Kimmy's feet, and it was like always a thing that she would threaten them with. So I don't know. Someone definitely had a thing for feet on that show.
She had big feet for her size. I will say that she's born before her time because if she was relevant this day and age, she'd have an incredible
Oh,
OnlyFans
absolutely,
following.
absolutely, and it's not too late. The
She'd
show's
be
still
a
running.
gazillionaire.
That's right. She could still hop on that wagon and just say,
Is Fuller House still
I
running?
think so. I don't know. Let me see. Fuller House.
Well, I know Aunt Becky's not on it.
There's been 5 seasons. Oh, it stopped in 2020. So yeah, no, Aunt Becky. She was there via video. They showed her from the yard. Good morning, San Francisco's jails. I got shanked by a bitch yesterday.
Wake up, San
Yeah,
Francisco.
that's right. Wake up in prison.
Well, I agree with that one. She was annoying. Next on my list is actually someone I thought you would have had on your list.
Oh,
But
I see that.
I wanted to throw a cartoon in here, and we all know Scooby Doo, but who the fuck came up with Scrappy Doo?
Seriously.
We don't need it, Scrappy Doo.
Not needed.
Another dog takes attention away from like the lead dog. Like
Totally.
the show is called Scooby Doo.
Totally. And he literally, it's not one of those things where the show was in any trouble. Like season 3, everybody knows you start bringing in characters that, keep the show fresh and whatnot. But that's usually when the show needs a little oomph in its step. Scooby Doo has been great. It's great. And Scrappy, you can tell everybody hated him so much that now in the newer stuff, he's only referenced ever as a bad guy. So you can tell what everybody thinks of Scrappy. But he was so fucking annoying. I will say it does kind of fit that yappy dog behavior. They're just so little and they want to like lunge at the big dogs. So I guess it does. He does match that yappy dog energy. But fuck, he was annoying. I just want to kick him.
Yeah.
And I love dogs.
He came on board in 1979. He was only in for a few seasons, and then I think they brought him back for some Scooby Doo movies.
Yep.
But my assumption is that he wasn't well received.
No, fuck Scrappy. He was so annoying and little.
Surprisingly enough, I wasn't around in 1970.
I was gonna say,
despite what
did you have anything to
people
do with
may
this?
Nope.
You seem pretty convincing, but I don't know. This could have been a SEMO idea. You know what Scooby Doo needs?
I was still
Scrapper.
living in my dad's testicles.
That's right. And back then, they only hung towards his knees. Now they go to the ankles. Thanks to the more family ball jeans. Anywho, up next. On me list, I got probably the most annoying wife that I've seen on TV. This bitch should have been way more grateful, and I use that word just for her. Skylar White in Breaking Bad. She was just the worst. She was not only an asshole the whole time, but she got mad at Walter White for doing everything he could to leave her and her disabled child something when he died of fucking cancer. He did all this for them. And sure, he gets a little carried away into the world of underground drug making and selling. Sure, yes, I know. He was not perfect by any means. He went down a dark hole. But for her to be all like, how could you possibly do this? So, bitch, what did you want him to do? Just die? Leave you nothing? Fuck you over? And all those bills? He was a school teacher, man.
Yeah, she was pretty awful.
Yes, and then she was like, just hateful in the show. And they just, and no, this might have been a character choice by the actress. I don't hate the actress by any means, but she was damn good at it. And I just, whenever eventually, like the last few seasons, whenever she would come on the screen, it would give me that feeling of like Jenny from Forrest Gump, where you're just like, that bitch. He could do better than this. Forrest Gump met the president, for God's sakes. He could do better. He has 3 brain cells. I can't with this woman. She's too hateful. She needs to be doing better.
Well, I don't know if I can top that, but I'm going to try to. Remember Golden Girls?
Oh, Oh yeah.
So there was Dorothy was a tall one with a deep voice. The slut was Blanche, the dumb one who was super endearing. That was Rose Nyland. And then Dorothy's mom came from Sleepy Meadow or something like that. I forget. Like something, I forget what the retirement home was called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ocean Pines or something. But anyway, Sleepy Pines or something. There's a 4 core characters, and then some of them had some like boyfriends from time to time that were like recurring. But my least favorite recurring supporting character was Dorothy's ex-husband. Just showed up sometimes. His name was Stan, and I'm like, why are you so attached to this woman? Like, you guys are divorced.
Yeah, right?
You've been divorced for a long
Stan,
time.
you're a loser.
Like, why are you still reaching out to your ex-mother-in-law? It's
Move
weird.
on, Stan.
Like, cut the cord.
But
It was very much.
and I like how they're like the Golden Girls, but they're like all in their 50s. Where like now it's like no
Yeah.
one will blink twice. Like what? Why do they look so old? People in the 80s, as soon as you hit 50,
Crazy.
it was like, hi kids.
Yeah. And there was like one episode where he was trying to get over his ex-wife and asked her to accompany him to like therapy. I thought, what a loser.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The,
a little too late, Stan. Should have done that one in the marriage, loser.
Yeah, I think he cheated on Dorothy. I think that's why they broke up originally. But the core 4 girls learned that Stan died. But then Dorothy's mom found out that Stan had faked his own death and left the country to avoid paying back taxes.
Oh my god. So you're saying
So that's all you need to know about this
so
person.
you're saying he's a maggot.
Yeah.
He's the president of the Republican Party.
Horrible.
No, Stan, what a jerk. Jesus. Jimmy, this is when we put in the wah wah wah. Remember that on your next break? We're gonna need that.
Wah, 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 wah.
What a fucking asshole, Stan. Well, it is. I feel like you kind of topped. You said it was going to be tough to top Skylar, but Stan sucks. What a douche. But
Stan's horrible.
But this next one, I'm going to go with one because it was tough for me on this one because every once in a while this character will do something awesome. But the problem is that he was always the one that gets passed over for big promotions and everything. So he has this awful chip on his shoulder that just when you start to like him, he does something super annoying to screw over everybody else and get himself ahead. And it's Louis Litt from Suits, played by Rick Hoffman, who, I'm not going to lie, the actor that plays him is fantastic at towing the line with him because, yeah, he's sometimes, like I said, awesome, but for the most part, he plays him like a fucking rat. And when he does his ratty behavior, he's just so annoying that you just want to punch this character. However, you can't because he'd sue, because he's a lawyer. But he's that kid who'd be like, Mr. Johnson, you forgot to assign homework on a weekend. Can we have some extra one today? You know what I mean? And everybody's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing? He's just that guy.
Is this the show that has the princess?
That's right.
What's her? Meghan Markle.
That's right. And she was actually good.
I never watched this show before.
It was it's a good show.
Is she a good actress?
I'm not going to go on to say
cute.
that she's like amazing Oscar-worthy actress. Before the show Suits, she was very good, and she was great at what she does. She was very likable in it, and she could play smart and also like a bit of a daddy's girl. Her character has a lot of nuance to it, and I think she's great at it. I've never really seen her in anything else, but from Suits, I have to say she was great at it. She does eventually end up leaving the show, but she was good.
Does she take her top off in the show?
I don't think you get to see it, but she does have some love scenes. So but it's like, USA Network, so you can't see as much.
I mean,
once it hits Netflix, that's when it's
no tatter. It's a little bit of a deal breaker, but if I get If I get a little something to put my spank
Maybe a little
bank,
side
I
boob.
think she's sexy.
uh,
Even as a gay man, I'm like, ooh, she's kind of
yeah,
sexy.
she's pretty hot. I have to say, Prince Harry did good for himself, and the main character, his name is Harvey in the show, is really good, and he's like a very charming type A, kind of cool, likable guy. And, sure, the world of law is probably nothing like it is on the show, but it makes it cooler. And I don't know, the whole cast all around is great. So I will say it's worth the watch. I haven't finished the last couple seasons, though. Eventually, they just kind of fell off my list a little bit, and I haven't gotten back into it. But whenever we watched it, it was awesome, and it definitely kept you going on to the next story. But check out Suits. I will say, though, Lewis will annoy the piss out of you, and you will want to punch him so goddamn hard. And you just can't, because he will sue. But anyways.
Nah, not worried about that. I got a guy. No, just kidding. Okay, so my number one, this is one of my favorite shows as a kid. I love this show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
And one season, we were introduced to her sister.
Yes.
She had a sister named Dawn.
Yes.
So she was the only child for the first few seasons. And then one season, it starts off with her having a sister. I guess something happened, and I guess I don't even know how to explain it. It was so convoluted, and I'm like, okay, so Buffy, this is taking a turn for the worst. And then there was actually a very beautiful episode of the way they captured it. But when Buffy's, spoiler alert, when her mom passed away, like time stood still, and it was such an incredible episode. I think anyone interested in good television should watch this episode. Do you remember this episode?
Very
When
little.
Buffy's mom passed.
Very little. But I
And
kind of have
it was like
I have the
everyone
Wikipedia front,
it.
so I'm keeping up with you.
So part of this episode is watching Dawn grieve for her mom, and part of me was like, "Bitch, you're new. Like, they didn't even know her. You don't even know. Like, they just bring this new character, and then we're supposed to feel bad for her that she lost her parent. Like, she doesn't exist. Like, what is this?"
And this was actually, like, according to Wikipedia here, what is known as a retcon. So it's retroactive continuity, which is a literary device in which facts in the world of a fictional work that have been established through the narrative itself are either adjusted, ignored, supplemented, or contradicted by its subsequently published work that recontextualizes or breaks with that tradition. So essentially, it's exactly what you said. All this time, she was an only child, and all of a sudden, now she has a biological sister and shit. And it happened a lot on TV from like the 90s and 2000s where people were just not expected to see it. But one in particular where I've noticed it is Boy Meets World, where Corey's friend Sean doesn't start out living in a trailer park. He turns out to have a sister at first, but then she's never mentioned again. Then he had a brother that you saw, but then it wasn't the same half brother that he had later on, which was played by Matthew Lawrence. It was just like his storyline was all over the place, and he really doesn't get fully like ingrained to what he actually is until like season 4. So he just keeps jumping around. Or Topanga, her dad was played by like 4 different actors throughout the season. And in the first time you see him, he's like a weird hippie. But later on, he's like a business guy. It's like they just completely forget that they showed us something. And it's the same thing here. All of a sudden, this bitch comes in and says, "Oh, I have a sister." It's like, wait, what? This doesn't really make sense. Especially when you get to season 5 of a show. It's kind of weird to have this pop up. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
No, I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So stop replacing the writers with new writers. If the show's doing well, then you have the writers to thank for that.
Totally. And I will say, the early 2000s were a time where they mean Hollywood, tried to make this actress a thing. Michelle Trachtenberg, I believe she was in Eurotrip as well as one of the movies that she was in.
She was also in this show called Pete and Pete.
Yep.
She had a broken arm, and she would take her cast off and do something with her hand, and then put the cast back on and pretend that she had a broken arm.
Yeah, which actually is something that was stolen from a wrestler, Bob Orton, who notoriously wore a cast in his arm for like 30 years because of a broken arm, and it became like a running gag. But that's something straight out of wrestling from the '80s, brother. But yeah, this girl, she was, and the thing is, I will say, she's very castable because she's very cute and pretty and kind of girls next door, but you can do a lot with her. She kind of looks a little bit like Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
She's cute, but not too cute. So I can see it. But again, like Simo said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Buffy, in my opinion, did not need a sister. By season 5, I wasn't watching Buffy as much as earlier on. Because I started with Buffy with the movie before the show, which was fucking badass. I don't know if you remember the movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which I think Michael Sutherland.
Liz Swanson or something like that? Or
yeah, exactly.
Who was the actress in it? And the guy that played Dylan, and he's passed away.
Luke Perry. Yep. And Christy Swanson played Buffy. Donner Sutherland was Merrick, who trained her. Luke Perry was in it. David Arquette was in it. Hilary Swank. Pee Wee Herman was in it. Rutger Hauer, who was a fucking legend. A young Seth Green. Ricky Lake was even in it. Crazy. But this movie was fucking stacked. And I haven't seen it in years, but I bet you it still holds up. And that cast is a who's who of people who did great shit in Hollywood. So if you haven't seen the movie, check it out, people. It's worth the watch. It was so badass. And the show keeps up, but the show is more made a little more for like teenagers and that younger crowd versus the movie is like a fucking R-rated badass movie. You know what I mean? So it's a little more violent and action focused. But the show's still awesome. Don't get me wrong. And then they had the spin off with her love interest. What is Michael or David? Whatever. Angel, yeah, the Archangel, and he was great. That guy was fantastic in that role.
He was a vampire, but a good one.
That's right. So that I miss me some Buffy. Maybe I'll pick it back up one of these days and finish out the whole show. But it was a good one, except for the sister. Yes, I agree. Anyways. For the last one on this list.
The last one.
I'm going to go with somebody. You have to be a total asshole to have a name like this person anyways. But you also have to be, your character has to be such an asshole to make Sarah Jessica Parker's Carrie Bradshaw seem likable. And that's Mr. Big in Sex and the City and Just Like That. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
What's big about him?
That's right.
His pocket, his penis. Overcompensating for something with his
That's
name.
right.
I don't
when your name is Mr. Big, you know you need to use some joy mode, people, because you're struggling in that department. You're definitely compensating for something, which you wouldn't have to if you just used a little joy mode. So use joymode.com/FratChat right now. Use promo code FratChat, save 20% off and get free shipping, and then thank us later. You won't have to name yourself Mr. Big. But I got a little choked up there. This character toys with Carrie Bradshaw the entire goddamn show. And then they finally make a movie where they're going to get married. And what does he do? He stands her up at the goddamn altar. Like, who does that? And like, this wedding looked expensive too. There's a lot of people there. This is a cool million. At least for a wedding. Like, you don't do all that, why even propose? But luckily, at least, he got his TV karma, mostly because the actor actually did end up getting canceled. I forget what he did. But they had to write him off the show. So spoiler alert, fast forward if you haven't seen this, but he gets what's coming to him when he dies in a Peloton bike, like an asshole at the beginning of the new show. So at least karma did its thing with Mr. Big. But what a douchebag. Like, who does all that? Again, to make Carrie Bradshaw likable, like Sarah Jessica Parker is fantastic in Hocus Pocus. I had many
unplanned boners as a 10-year-old watching that movie because of this character. But in Carrie Bradshaw, I was like, she sucks. Just so annoying for someone like me. But then you got Mr. Big, and you find yourself liking her, that says something about you, Biggie, and not the good one.
What did she used to say? I couldn't help but wonder. It was like her catchphrase. I couldn't help but, bitch, shut the fuck up and stop wondering about stuff.
Haven't you seen your wondering has kept you single through your goddamn 50s? The only one you got was Mr. Big. That's the best you ever did in love. I should probably tell you something. God.
I saw her recently because they're always filming the city, and like they have to shut down streets. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like I just had the same feeling about Oprah. Like, yeah, I liked Oprah, but she would inconvenience me a lot because I couldn't get to work when like she has a whole like city shut down. You know,
Seymour has a whole beef with Oprah. Every time Seymour was in the supermarket, for example, wants to get the last box of his favorite cereal, and then he went to reach for it, and someone reached, and he looked over. God damn it, Oprah!
Yeah,
you don't get the cereal.
Jessica Parker. I think she prides herself on aging naturally, and I'm like, you sure about that? I don't know. Like, girl, let me refer you to somebody who can help you.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like an asshole, and I'm definitely gonna, but I agree. I feel like she could use a little, but with a lot of the stuff they take it down a little bit post, make her look definitely way younger on the show. Nothing against people trying to age naturally and do their thing, do your thing, but good Lord, a little Botox would kill you.
Good Lord Almighty.
Anyways, that was our list on annoying TV characters. And no, there's plenty more annoying characters on TV. So let us know if there's some that you want to see on this list, and we'll definitely revisit this topic. You can shoot us an email, make some suggestions at FratChat Podcast at gmail.com. It's a great little email. Or you can go ahead and follow us on social media. Shoot us a little DM. Just no feet pictures or wieners, please. Folders full.
No feet pictures.
Folders full. Anyway, at FratChat Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, on Twitter/X. You can also give me a follow at carlosgarciacomedy.com, our website for show dates and all that good stuff. You can follow me on Instagram. At Carlos Does the World, also on TikTok, on Threads, on YouTube, Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. You can follow my good buddy Seema over there at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram, and the old TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. I just had a stroke there. Oh yeah! All right, Mr. Mo, these characters have me on edge now, so won't you get us out of here so I can get the fuck out?
Whenever I'm on edge, I rub one out.
Yeah. Oh yeah! Remember, use joinware.com.
Have fun. I motion to join.
We're both having strokes here.
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
I remember my first podcast, and I second. All right, you guys, we'll be back stroke free next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. No longer bi-coastal. It'll be the FratChat Podcast. See ya.
Peace, bitch.